everyone, my name is Muhammad Akraf bin Muhammad Hamdan, and today I would like to share with you guys with China industry. China is one of the largest and most expensive country in the Asian region. With a massive population, the nation is well known for its electronic products, particularly smartphone brands such as Oppo, Xiaomi, Vivo, and many others. Additionally, China manufactures automotive products like electric cars, EVs, notably under the Build Your Dreams BYD brand. All of the Chinese-made goods have received an overwhelmingly positive response, not only in their domestic market but also worldwide. China's population stands at approximately 1.41 billion people, accounting for about 17% of the global population. This makes China the second most populous country in the world, just behind India, which recently surpassed China's position. The peak year for China's population was in 2021, reaching around 1.42 billion people, before the graph began to flatten and decline the following year. In 2022, China experienced its first official population decline, dropping by roughly 850,000 people compared to the previous year. This downward trend accelerated significantly between 2023 and 2025, showing a substantial decrease of 2.08 million people, and this trend continues into this day. Furthermore, China is a major producer of various agricultural and food products, a key example from our study being tea production. China is the motherland origin of global tea production. Scientific research indicates that the tea plant, scientifically known as a Camellia sinensis, originated in the southwestern region of China, spanning Yunnan, Guizhou, and Sichuan province. In addition, the first human to discover and consume tea as both a medicine and a beverage was Emperor Shennong in China around 2737 BC, over 4,000 years ago. Because of that, tea products have been promoted globally for their excellent health benefits. Factually, China still maintains its crown as the largest tea producer in the world, contributing nearly 45% to 50% of the total global tea output. This study aims to identify the economic indicators and trends concerning tea production in China. This research will also establish which countries serve as the global origin and leader of tea production. The scope of this study encompasses the location and population of tea in China, the type of economic system, demand and supply analysis, elasticity of demand and supply, consumer behavior, the theory of distribution, and lastly, the competition.
Okay, I will explain the type of economic system in China. China practices a socialist market economy which combines the features of a common economy and a market economy. This means the government plays an important role in controlling key industries and making major economic decisions. At the same time, private business are allowed to operate and compete based on market demand and consumers' needs. This balance between government control and private business helps China achieve economic growth while maintaining social stability. In the tea leaf industry, the government supports tea production through policies and infrastructure, while private companies produce and export tea to both domestic and international markets. Overall, this economic system helps the tea industry grow and contributes to China's economy. Okay, I will explain how tea contributes to the national integration in China. Tea has played an important role in uniting China for many years. Historically, the tea house road connected different regions through trade, allowing people from various ethnic groups to interact and strengthen their relationships. Besides trade, tea also became a part of Chinese culture. Although people have different language and traditions, drinking tea is a common practice that brings communities together and promotes national identity. Today, the tea industry continues to support national integration by creating jobs and improving the economy, especially in rural provinces such as
Next one, factor affecting demand of tea in China. First, consumer income. As middle-class disposable income rise in urban centers, the income elasticity of demand for premium tea is strongly positive. Consumers are proactively trading up from low-grade bulk tea to high-value, organic and functionally healthy tea product, which means tea is no longer viewed as just a basic beverage but as a premium lifestyle product. Second, health and wellness. Growing health awareness acts as a permanent taste shifter, structurally increasing the demand for green and herbal teas, which means health trends are becoming long-term driver of tea consumption rather than a temporary trend. Third, price of related goods. Instead of a simple negative cross-price elasticity effect, coffee and modern tea have formed a complementary relationship in urban lifestyle routine, which means modern consumers often drink both beverages depending on the occasion or lifestyle. Next is factor affecting supply of tea in China. For the first one, government policies. State funding for rural revitalization act as a direct cost reduction for farmers, shift the supply curve outward and pivot production toward high value yields, which means the Chinese government play an active role in supporting the tea industry. Second is technology. Automation and digital supply chains lower marginal production costs, increasingly overall processing efficiency and output capacity, which means technological advancement help producers increase efficiency while maintaining product consistency. Third is weather and climate condition. Strict environmental requirements localize supply. Climate volatility introduced sudden, unpredictable leftward shift in the seasonal supply curve, which means climate change could lead to lower tea harvest and higher market price.
Good day everyone. Now I will explain the market equilibrium of tea in China. Based on the table and graph, market equilibrium is the point where quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. In this case, the equilibrium occurs at 20 yuan, where both of the quantity demanded and quantity supplied are 4,000 kilograms. Next, let's look at the recent change in market equilibrium. In recent years, consumers' income has gradually increased. Since tea is considered a normal good, higher income causes consumers to buy more tea. This increases for demand tea, causing the demand curve to shift to the right, while the supply curve remains unchanged. If the price is below 20 yuan, for example at 10 yuan, consumers want to buy more tea while producers supply less. This creates a shortage because demand is higher than supply. As a result, the price will increase until the market reaches equilibrium again. As a result, a new market equilibrium is formed. The equilibrium price increases from 20 yuan to 23 yuan, and the equilibrium quantity increases from 4,000 kilograms to 4,500 kilograms. This shows that an increase in demand leads to both a higher equilibrium price and a higher equilibrium quantity. In conclusion, the tea market in China demonstrates how change in consumers' income can affect market demand. When demand increases, the market adjusts by reaching a new equilibrium with a higher price and greater quantity traded.
I will explain about the price elasticity of demand and price elasticity in supply. Based on the calculation, the price elasticity of demand value is 0.6. Since it is less than 1, the demand for tea is inelastic. This means consumers are not very sensitive to price changes. When the price increases from 15 ringgit to 20 ringgit, quantity demanded only decreases from 5,000 kg to 4,000 kg. Therefore, consumers still continue buying tea despite the price increase. Next, the price elasticity of supply. Based on the calculation, the value is 1. This means the supply of tea is unitarily elastic, where the percentage change in quantity supply is equal to the percentage change in price. When the price increases from 15 ringgit to 20 ringgit, quantity supply increases from 3,000 kg to 4,000 proportionately to the price change.
Next, let's explore the real-world qualitative factor that determine why the demand for tea behaves the way it does. There are two key determinants to consider here: necessity versus luxury, and the availability of substitute goods. First, let's look at whether tea is a necessity or a luxury. While tea is a deeply integrated, commonly consumed beverage in everyday life, it's not an absolute medical or biological necessity. This means that if price rises too sharply, consumers do have the discretion to scale back their consumption or change habits. We must look at the availability of close substitutes. Tea does not exist in a vacuum. If tea prices experience a significant jump, consumers can easily switch over to alternative beverage like coffee, soft drink, and other bottled juices. Because these viable alternatives are readily accessible in the market, it introduces an element of flexibility, pushing tea demand to tend to be more elastic when price drift too high. Now, let's move over to the producer side and examine the factors that dictate the price elasticity of supply. The primary determinant here is the time frame. In the short run, agriculture supply is highly inelastic. A tea plant takes time to grow, mature, and harvest. Producers simply cannot snap their fingers and instantly multiply their output the moment market price spikes. However, when we shift our perspective to the long run, supply becomes much more elastic. This is especially true when looking at a market like China, which boasts extensive tea growing regions and incredibly abundant natural tea resources. Given enough time, producers can expand their fields, optimize cultivation infrastructure, and fully scale up production capacity to comfortably meet shifting market demands.
Next is consumer behavior. In the tea industry, consumer behavior is influenced by several factors, including culture, health awareness, lifestyle, income level, and personal preference. Chinese tea has gained popularity among consumers worldwide due to its health benefit, unique flavor, and strong culture. Many consumers choose Chinese tea because of its health benefits, such as improving digestion, reducing stress, and providing antioxidants. In addition, younger consumers are increasingly attracted to premium and specialty tea products due to social media influence and changing lifestyle trends. Consumer purchasing behavior is also affected by product quality, packaging, branding, and pricing. The growing demand for organic and sustainable tea products has further influenced the purchasing decision of modern consumers. This means consumers purchase tea not only for taste but because of lifestyle, social influence, and personal identity.
I will explain theory of distribution. First is labor market equilibrium. In China tea industry, there are thousands of tea plantations that need workers, especially during the harvesting season. At the same time, many seasonal workers are looking for jobs. When the demand for workers matches the supply of workers, the labor market reaches equilibrium. Next is labor demand based on productivity. The demand for tea workers depends on the demand for tea in the market. If more people buy tea, producers need to hire more workers. It also depends on the workers' productivity, because productivity workers can harvest more tea and increase production. Lastly is labor supply and opportunity cost. The number of people willing to work in the plantations depends on other job opportunities. If workers can earn higher wages in other industries, they may choose those jobs instead. This reduces the labor supply in the tea industry. Overall, the demand and supply of labor determine the wages and employment in China tea industry.
Today, I will explain how wages are determined in a perfectly competitive labor market by using Chinese tea industry as an example. In economic theory, wages in a perfectly competitive labor market are determined by the interaction between the demand for labor and the supply of labor. In this type of market, both employer and workers are price takers. This means that no single employer or worker has the power to influence the wage rate. Instead, wages are determined by market force. China is the world's largest tea producer, and its tea industry employs many workers from provinces such as Zhejiang and Fujian. Workers are involved in planting, picking, processing, and packaging tea. This labor market resembles perfect competition because there are many tea plantations, many workers with similar skills, workers can move between plantations, and wages are determined by market focus. Therefore, the wage rate is set at the point where labor demand equals labor supply.
There are three main factors influencing the wage of the industrial workers in China. First, skill and experience allow workers specialize in tasks like tea leaf grading and processing to earn higher wage due to increased efficiency. Second, labor demand and supply significantly impact earnings, particularly during the harvesting season when labor shortage drive employers to offer higher wage to attract workers. Lastly, government policies including labor laws and minimum wage regulation play a crucial role in determining the final wage paid to both plantation and factory workers. In conclusion, the tea industry in China serves as a prime real-world application of fundamental economic principles. The consumer demand is deeply anchored in cultural preference, health awareness, and lifestyle trends, while the supply side demonstrates distinct elasticity traits heavily influenced by agricultural timeframes and extensive inventory availability. Crucially, the farm-level production structure highlights a perfectly competitive labor market, where thousands of small farms operate as wage takers utilizing interchangeable specialized skills. Together, this intersecting factor of demand behavior, supply dynamics, and structured labor distribution underpin the enduring global prominence and operational efficiency of China's tea sector.